All right, welcome to the next video here on lesson 5, using and managing images. And we're going to work again in our striped umbrella site. We're going to work with some images, look at how we can put pictures in, how other ways we can use pictures to make our websites better and more creative. So make sure that you are in the striped umbrella site that you have created, not on your own personal site. Okay, so make sure you're in there on that striped umbrella site. And you should see your pages and your pictures down here. I'm going to double click on CSS styles so that I have more room. So I can see the pages that I've created and the pictures that I have put into my assets folder, saved into my assets folder. Okay, so one of the key things that I've tried to get across to you guys is make sure you save your pictures into the assets folder before you insert them. That way you know your pictures are not going to break, you're not going to have any broken links, and everything should be visible and it'll look like you know what you're doing. So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to work on our About Us page. So I'm going to double click on the About Us page. And right now our About Us page has only got some navigation on it. We added some text previously just so we knew what page it was. I'm going to backspace that out. I'm going to give this a document title. We don't want it to say untitled document. So I'm going to type about us at the striped umbrella. Okay, so we have a good document title now. We have some navigation here. We don't have much else. We're gonna experiment here for the first time, putting this actual page into a table structure. So we're going to set this up in a table so it has a framework for us to place things into our site. And so what we're going to do, we're going to simply put a simple table in here. So I'm going to click in front of my navigation and I'm going to click Insert Table. And I'm going to have a table with 3 rows, 1 column. And we're going to set a width here at 1,000 pixels, which is about the max end we want to build the width of a web page, because we want it to be visible on all screens across the world and all devices that this might be viewed on. Again, I want a border thickness of 0 because I don't want anyone to see that this is a table. I want it to be invisible. And I'm going to press OK. And so here I have my basic table structure. Okay, so on the About Us page, I'm again going to put in my striped umbrella banner in that top cell. I want that top cell to be centered. So I'm going to go horizontal center. And I'm going to drag in the SU banner into that top cell. And I'm going to type the alternate text, the striped umbrella banner. And I'm going to press OK. Okay, so we have that in our top cell. Now I'm going to take this navigation, I'm going to select it, and I'm just going to go point to it and drag it into the second cell. And that doesn't look very good. So I want to click in that second cell and I want to go horizontal center. And now what I have basically is this bottom container that I can take and I can put some text, put some other things inside of this, some content for this page. Okay, so let's go get that content. Now, I don't want to make you guys type all the information. You know, normally when you design a page and create it, you're going to type your information. But for this exercise, I'm going to get the text for you. So we are going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to go into this PC, and I'm going to go to DHS Shared, Business Ed, Web Design 1, Dreamweaver CS6. We're going to go to that Unit E folder and open up DWE1. Okay, DWE1 will have that text that we want for our page. And so, and there's actually an extra piece here. So let's take this out. I'm going to delete that. There should be 2 paragraphs that we want. Welcome guests and after you arrive. So I want you to select that text and go ahead and go Control C to copy it, and then go back to the About Us page, and I'm going to click into that cell, and I'm going to go Control V to paste that text. So there's my text that I need for this page. Now I'm going to go up to this DWE1. I'm going to close it. I'm going to say no to save change. I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to say yes to save changes, because I want it to be the way it was before with just the 2 paragraphs. You can say no to save changes. But here's my text that I want for this page, all in that bottom cell. Now, I want to set up my page where I put another table inside this cell so that I can place things where I want to place them. So I'm going to click in front of Welcome Guests. And I'm going to go Insert Table. And I'm going to insert another table that's going to be 2 rows and 2 columns. And we'll make this thing a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go 800 pixels in width. I'm going to press OK. So now I've put in what we call a nested table, a table inside of a bigger table inside of my site. And I'm going to take and I'm going to select this paragraph that says welcome guests, and I'm going to drag this into the top left cell. I don't know why it does this, but it always pushes your column divider over, so you need to drag that back. And I can place that right in the middle. And then I'm going to grab this bottom paragraph, and I can grab that. Once I have it selected, I can click it and drag it and drop it in the bottom right cell. Okay. Now you'll notice this is still left aligned in this master table cell, that 3rd cell. So click in this, the bigger table cell, and go horizontal center to center that table. But now you'll also see, like, click on the striped umbrella banner. You're going to, well, click in the paragraph welcome guests, and you're going to see what are called meta tags. And you have 2 sets now. Okay, you have table, which is the master table. TR tells you what row you're in. TD tells you what cell you're in, which is going to be the same thing when you only have 1 column. The second table will be your nested table. TR will tell you what row you're in, or to select that row. And TD will select that cell that you're in. So a quick way to select pieces of master tables or nested tables is to use these meta tags. And so that's a quick shortcut that can help you. Sometimes if you're frustrated trying to select something, these tags can be very useful. Okay, so now we're going to put in a couple pictures. Okay, now we're not going to go against our rules. We're going to make sure we save our images in that assets folder. Because in realistic real life, that's what you're going to do from Photoshop. So I'm going to go out and get those images. Let's say they're stored on our computer somewhere. So I'm going to go click on the File Explorer, and I'm going to go to DHS Shared, Business Ed, and I'm going to go to Web Design 1, Dreamweaver CS6, Unit E, and in that Assets folder are going to be some pictures that we're going to want to use. We're going to want to use Boardwalk, so I'm going to click on Boardwalk. And we are going to want to use Clubhouse. So we're going to go to this Clubhouse copy here. So I'm going to click and select both of these 2 pictures. Click Boardwalk, hold Control, and click Clubhouse. That allows you to select 2 pictures at once. It'll save you some time. Right click on it and copy those images. Copy those 2 images. Now, where do I want to paste these? I want to paste these in my assets folder. Okay, my assets folder is in my root folder, which is in my documents, my striped umbrella root folder, my assets, right click, and I'm going to paste those 2 images. Boardwalk and Clubhouse copy. Now I can go back to Dreamweaver. They should be in my assets folder. I don't see them. I could wait, they will come up, but I'm going to go ahead and click on this purple swirl arrow and hit refresh to refresh that so I can see those. Now my boardwalk I want to place in this top right cell. Okay, and I want to center this, so I'm going to click in that cell and I'm going to go horizontal center. I'm going to click in this bottom left cell and go horizontal center as well. I'm going to grab my boardwalk picture, click, drag, and drop, give it the alternate text, boardwalk, and press OK. I'm going to go down and grab my clubhouse picture, drag it, drop it, give it the alt text clubhouse, and press OK. And now I have a decent 4x4 set up with pictures and text. Now in a table, you can click on a table, and I can click this nested table, click a border to get it selected, or select that meta tag to select it, so I can get that table selected. You have some table settings, and because we have invisible borders, you can't really tell that it's packed tight, but you can take with your table, you'll see down here on my properties, it's 2 rows, 2 columns, 800 pixels. I can click in cell pad. Let's say I type 10. It's going to add some padding on the inside of that cell. Okay, you can see how it pushed it away, this pad around the inside of the cell. Cell space will actually, let's say I type 25 in there and press enter. 25 pixels of cell space in between the cells. Okay, so that's another thing that you can use to kind of manipulate some of your things. You see our border is 0. I like that because I want to be invisible. I don't want anyone to know that I have a table located in here. Okay, I haven't saved in a while. I can see my asterisk up here. I'm going to go Control S and save my changes. Now, to be a little more creative, you can add color to your cells in your table. And so maybe I want to kind of brighten this thing up. I could click in my master table, 3rd cell. Okay, when I do that, you'll see there down here in the cell properties, there's a BG swatch for background. And right now it's just grayed out, there's nothing in there. But if I click that, I can add a color into that background of that cell. Okay, and that's my 3rd cell in the master table. Now I could also click into a cell in my nested table, hit BG, and I could change that to a different color. Maybe I do like a light blue. I could go to this cell and I could do the same thing, do another light blue. 66FFCC. So you can see I got the wrong. I don't have the same ones on each one here. He's down there, so I got to click this guy. It's one lower. So those little color codes are for each color. So now I can tell I got the same color for each cell. So I can play with cell colors. I can play with the background color, modify page properties. Go in here, background color, change the background color to something else. Press OK. Okay, so now I can be more creative. I can add colors. I can add different tables. Different tables allow me more cells, which allow me more color combinations because I can color those different colors as well. And so all of this is allowing me to add some flexibility, some design, some creativity into my web page. And so all stuff that are good for us, things that are making our lives better. Now, we talked about graphics, inserting graphics, and what are some other things we can do to graphics? Okay, well, if we click on a graphic, we can see the graphics properties down here. And they actually have a little Photoshop editing thing here, which allows us to edit that image a little bit. So I can do some different things with that as well. I can click Edit Image. I can take a look at that. Gives me some settings for it. Tells me what format it is in right now. Okay, I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to press OK. I don't like to use this down here. I like to make sure I just edit my images. I know what size my table cell is. I know what size I can build my image to be. I know whatever I want to do to my image, I want to do in Photoshop, and then I want to save into my assets folder. I don't want to mess around with, trying to do that inside of Dreamweaver once I've already created the image. Sometimes kids will bring in an image, it's 1,200 pixels wide, and then they're messing around trying to resize it, pushes their table wide, they're confused. Edit your images, plan ahead, size them, do the creativity steps in Photoshop before you bring them in, before you save them into your assets folder. So that's going to save you a lot of headaches. You can see your assets if you click your assets panel. This shows me the assets that are in my site. What images are in my site? Okay, that's a little tab next to files. Click files, you can pop back to files. You can still see them there too. But the nice thing about assets, it gives you a little preview. It tells you what the picture is, what is each of these assets. So it's kind of helpful too, but something else that you can do. Now, another thing I can do with my images is I can insert a background image. So right now I have this kind of pink background color. Modify page properties, there's my background color. I could also insert a background image. So I could go and I could browse. Now this is dangerous because I don't have this in my assets folder. And so this can be a little dangerous. And what I like to do when I set up my site though, to make sure I get a copy of any image I insert into my site, okay, and you want to make sure, maybe you want to check this. I'm going to go to Site, Manage My Sites. The only site I have right now is Striped Umbrella, so I'm going to double click that. Okay, and I'm going to go back and look at when we first set this site up. Okay, I named it Striped Umbrella. My root folder is going this path. But remember, we clicked that Advanced Settings, and default images are, I'm telling them to go into my Assets folder that's inside my root folder. Okay, if you have not done that, I would do that. That way, when I insert any images, when I go Modify Page Properties, and I insert an image that is not in my assets, it's going to make a copy in my assets. Okay. Real simple step, saves you the headache in case, you put an image in and then it's located on your desktop, but it's not in your assets. When you upload that, that image is going to break if it's not located in your assets folder over here too. So I am right now going to go to DHS Shared, Business Ed, and I'm going to go to Web Design 1, Dreamweaver CS6, go to Unit E, and I'm going to go into my Assets folder, and I'm going to insert a background here for this. I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to click on Water, okay? Water, 1200 by 1289 JPEG. I press OK. I press Apply. I can see it, and I press OK. And now I can see there's that water in my background. If I were to go view this by pressing F12 or preview and click yes to save changes, okay, there's that background. You can see it in your background. 1289 gets me to about here. You can see the crease, right? You can see that crease in it. And then you're also going to see a crease when you move down. So it's going to tile just like tile in your shower. The bigger the tile, the less creases. So you want to, when you put a picture in the background, if this gets me to 1289, 1500 would get me off the screen and I won't see that outside crease. It's still going to tile me here, and we'll put in another picture so you can see this better, but there are going to be some creases because it's going to tile on you. So I'm going to pop back in here. Modify page properties. Let's go browse and let's put in the iguana and lizard. And let's press apply. Press OK. And now you'll see what happens. You see how it tiles. Okay, and it's really going to be a distinctive tile when you have a pretty dark image, solid image. Just to save changes. Okay, you're going to really see a tile. And that image is not as big as that water image, so it's going to tile more. You got smaller tiles. All right. So maybe you want to build a background image for your site. Okay. I could easily do that in Photoshop. I'm going to go to Photoshop and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to set up a background image for my site. I'm going to soften that so that I can read my text and it also will blend a little better and not tile so bad. Okay. So I'm going to go find an image. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to go out onto Chrome. If it lets me. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go out to Chrome. I'm going to go to Google Image. I'm going to do an image search. So I'm going to search for beach. Look for a beach scene. I'm going to click images here. Okay, and get some different beach scenes. Now, be careful. I mean, you can use these for educational purposes, but you have to be careful about where you're getting images from. If they're copywritten or protected, you could get in trouble for stealing someone's image off the internet. I think the easiest thing, if you go through Microsoft Word, which is usually on your computer, most of the time, most of those Bing images are actually free. And maybe we should just even do that. If I open Microsoft Word and just say I got a blank document here, and I go to Insert, and I go to Online Pictures, okay, because you have Microsoft Word purchased it on your machine, you can go and find these online pictures that you're not going to get in trouble for taking. So if I type in beach and see what I get, make sure this Creative Commons is checked. That means they're common pictures that everyone can use. Okay, so I'm going to find one that I think would be good for my background. And maybe I click this one, I click insert, and here comes my image. Oofda, that's so small though, isn't it? That's one kind of drawback here of this, isn't it? I don't want these things so little. So let's see, let's try a different one and just see what happens. Maybe it's a different size. Yeah, so this is a little different, a little bigger. And that's nice about Google Images is it tells you the pixel size when you're over there. So that can be nice about that. But this would be the safer play. You definitely use Google Images in my class. Just realize if you're working for a business or yourself using images or building websites and you're using images that are not yours, you could get in trouble. So I'm going to let's delete the text box. Control Z, whatever I did there. suppose that text box is taking out my thing, isn't it? Control X and get that out of there. Control X will cut it. Control V will paste it. Yeah, there she's clear. Okay, so we can get it away from that text box. We don't want that. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to go Control C to copy it. Back to Photoshop. File new. It'll copy my dimensions from the clipboard. Press OK. And then I'm going to go Edit Paste. Okay. Now this is pretty small. If I go image size, we're sitting at 360 by 270. Okay, it's going to tile quite a bit. So I want to change this. I'm going to change this to 1500. And we're going to resample this image, and I'm going to resize it to be a lot bigger. We're going to lose some quality because it's going to pixelate. That's why we'd rather start with a bigger image. But it's going to be my background, so I think we're going to be okay. All right. So I'm making this in my background image. I'm going to add a new layer above it, layer 2. I'm going to grab my paint bucket and I'm going to flood fill that with white. And I'm going to grab my opacity slider and I'm going to slide that down to just soften it. I want a little bit of white, but I want to be able to see through to the beach background too. So I'm going to change my opacity. I'm going to type in 50, so 50/50 white and see-through. And now I'm ready to take this and export it and put it in my assets folder. So I'm going to go File, Save for Web. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to save this into my assets folder. So make sure I'm in my striped umbrella assets folder, which I can see that I am. And I'm just going to name this Beach Back. And I'm going to press save. Okay, so now I'm good. I got a copy in my assets folder, Beach Back. I'm going to close this, say no to save changes. Go back to Dreamweaver, hit my refresh button. Okay, so now you'll notice even those ones I put in, like water and the iguana, are in here because it copied those images into my assets folder because that's my default images folder. I just saved Beach Back into here. So I'm going to go Modify Page Properties, Background Image, Browse. Okay, I don't want to be in here anymore. I want to be in my site root, the striped umbrella, Assets. I'm going to go to Beach Back, press Apply. I'll press OK. And now I have that beach background. And you'll see it tile, vertically, but horizontally, it's kind of hidden because we made it so wide. So I'm going to go Control S, save the changes. We'll F12 it, take a look at it in the browser. Definitely not what I was expecting to see there. Go back here, let's click in here. F12 it. There we go. That's what we want to see. Okay. So there is what my site and page is looking like. This empty gap over here isn't horrible because it is going to adjust for different screen sizes. Okay, so say I got a different screen size. This is my playroom. Smaller tablet. Okay, my site still is going to be good. What I don't want to is get onto such a small screen that now my user has to scroll like this. That's not ideal. So that's kind of why we stay at that 1,000 threshold. As far as when we put that table in and build that site, the width we want to stay at is a maximum of about 1,000. Okay, so now you're going to go do Dreamweaver Lesson 5. You're going to add information to your favorites page. You're going to use these skills you learned in this video to design and create a cool favorites page about the favorite things, your favorite things that you like, into your personal website. Thanks for watching.